Hello, and welcome to our 13th D&D 3.5 Prestige Class Review. Today we're going to be looking at the Abjurant Champion Prestige Class from the Complete Mage Sourcebook. I'm going to be rating the Prestige Class on its concept and execution, as well as going over its prerequisites and various class features. I'll also give some suggestions for how the Prestige Class could be improved, and also some builds that could incorporate the Prestige Class. So the Abjurant Champion is a martial spellcaster hybrid prestige class. It's meant for utilizing abjuration spells to their fullest extent. This prestige class is recommended for fighter wizard or paladin sorcerer multi-class characters, but it can also be taken by duskblades and hexblades, as well as many other potential class combinations. I did already make a video on the Abjurant Champion, but it was based on the faulty assumption that the mage armor spell belonged to the abjuration school rather than the conjuration school. And learning that changed my view on the prestige class quite a bit. It seems I wasn't alone in this assumption, however, as the writers of the prestige class seem to also believe that mage armor was an abjuration spell, judging by the example character of Caspian Lamont that they give as an example Abjurant Champion. His stat block shows him to have already cast mage armor, and includes a +9 armor bonus to his armor class with 5 levels of Abjurant Champion. So, as we'll see as we begin discussing this prestige class's class features, this means that they likely also thought that mage armor was an abjuration spell. Now, the Abjurant Champion requires a base attack bonus of +5, the combat casting feat, the ability to cast first level arcane spells, including at least one abjuration spell, and proficiency with at least one martial weapon. The Duskblade class will almost effortlessly fulfill all of these requirements. The downside is that the Duskblade class does not gain access to the bread and butter spell of the Abjurant Champion, which is the shield spell. The Hexblade likewise also does not gain access to it normally. As a result, neither of these classes are really suitable to feed into the Abjurant Champion. I would rate this prestige class's requirements as moderately restrictive. It does want you to take one feat that usually isn't considered to be very good, but it does also only require you to have first level arcane spells, and only one martial weapon proficiency, not that that's really much of an issue. The Abjurant Champion has a D10 hit die, which is pretty good for a frontline fighter. Your hit points are going to be a little bit lower because of your levels in spellcasting classes, and because of your need to spread your ability scores out among intelligence or charisma, as well as strength, dexterity, and constitution. The Abjurant Champion is going to give you a good will save, which is going to be very helpful for a frontline fighter character, who is often going to have a weak will save. However, with the levels and casting classes you're already going to have, you're going to probably have a good will save already, so this will only make that stronger. You're going to get 2+ intelligence modifier skill points per level, which is going to be enough to keep your concentration skill up, as well as spellcraft and maybe a few other skills as well, if you're a wizard. Overall, this is pretty average and about what we'd expect. 2+ intelligence modifier is pretty common. As for class features, the Abjurant Champion gives you +1 level of existing arcane spellcasting at each of its 5 levels. This is really important because there are very few class features that you're going to want to give up a level of spellcasting for. At first level, you're going to gain the Abjurant Armor feature. It says that anytime you cast an abjuration spell that grants you an armor bonus or shield bonus to armor class, you can increase the value of the bonus by your Abjurant Champion class level. Now, this feature was likely based on a misinterpretation of the mage armor spell, seeing as that spell, while it does grant an armor bonus to armor class, is a conjuration force spell, not an abjuration spell. As such, this leaves very few spells that actually do grant an armor bonus to AC that are of the abjuration school. However, there is one that grants a shield bonus to armor class, and that is, of course, shield. Now, as a 5th level Abjurant Champion, this is going to mean that while your shield spell is active, it's going to give you a +9 bonus to armor class. However, the real missed opportunity here is that the mage armor spell, were it abjuration, as the writers of the prestige class seem to think, it would allow you to have a +9 bonus to armor class all day long, pretty much. As shield only lasts for 1 minute per level, you're going to have to cast it several times, which is probably fine, and the other prestige class features that we're about to talk about are going to complement that. The mage armor spell being able to benefit from this would have really greatly increased this prestige class's power. You also, at first level, get the extended abjuration feature. Anytime you cast an abjuration spell, you double its duration, as if you applied the extend spell feat to it. This doesn't increase its level or casting time, and that's a good thing because at second level you're going to gain the swift abjuration feature, which lets you cast abjuration spells as a swift action. The maximum level of spell you can quicken is going to be equal to half your class level, though rounded up rather than rounded down as is typical for D&D. So by 5th level you're going to be able to quicken up to 3rd level abjuration spells. This is really nice because it's going to both make your shield spell last longer, and it's going to allow you to cast it on the first round of combat as a swift action, rather than spending a turn buffing yourself. This is going to be a pretty nice boost to your armor class, but the fact that you can't use this with mage armor is going to make you want to reconsider your build for this prestige class quite a bit, as we'll talk about in a moment. At 3rd level, you don't gain any class features besides your +1 level of spellcasting. This dead level is a little bit disappointing, and it would be nice if there were at least some sort of minor feature here, but it's understandable given how many features you get the first 2 levels. At level 4 you gain the Arcane Boost feature. This lets you, as a swift action, sacrifice a prepared spell or spell slot to gain some sort of insight bonus for 1 round, equal to the spell's level. You can get a bonus on attack rolls, a bonus on weapon damage rolls equal to twice the spell's level, a bonus to armor class, a bonus to saving throws, or resistance to each energy type equal to 5 times the spell level. This can be quite a nice feature. However, being unable to do this as an immediate action or a reaction to being attacked makes it a little bit less powerful. If you're giving up a spell for some sort of static bonus for a single round, it had better be a pretty good static bonus, and having it simply be equal to the spell's level is usually not going to be very helpful. A good comparison here is the Arcane Strike feat from the Player's Handbook 2. Anyone could take this feat, and it allows you to give up a spell slot to gain a bonus on attack rolls equal to the level of the spell slot sacrificed, and an extra 1d4 damage for each level of the spell slot sacrificed. While Arcane Boost is definitely more versatile, the lack of ability to use it as an immediate action or reaction in any way really hinders this ability. At level 5, you gain the Martial Arcanist class feature as your final class feature. It sets your caster level for 1 arcane spellcasting class equal to your base attack bonus. The example they give is a 7th level fighter, 1st level wizard, 5th level Abjurant Champion, with a base attack bonus of +12, having a caster level of 12 for their wizard spells. This is really helpful for shoring up your caster level, as you will have given up a lot of levels in fighter or some other martial class. However, for a capstone ability for this prestige class, it's good, but it's not quite as good as some of the earlier features that really ramp up those abjuration spells. Overall, this prestige class is really held back by the simple fact that mage armor, unbeknownst apparently to the writer of the prestige class, is not an abjuration spell. If it were, a character that reached 5 levels in Abjurant Champion could have both mage armor and shield up for a total of +18 to armor class, giving a base AC of 28 before any dexterity or other magic items. This would of course be a very good start for a melee character. Even compared to a fighter in heavy armor, this would not be a bad base AC. Unfortunately, this is not the case, so you'll have to make up your armor bonus in other ways. The Armored Mage alternate class feature, also from the Complete Mage, allows you to wear light armor, for which case your best choice would be a chain shirt, which would be the equivalent base armor class of mage armor, and you could then enhance it further. Armored Mage allows you to cast spells while wearing light armor, spells of level up to the number of fighter levels that you have. If you take 4 levels of fighter and 2 levels of wizard to qualify for this prestige class, you will be sufficiently able to cast your 4th level spells that you'll have by the time you get out of this prestige class while wearing light armor. Again, a chain shirt is suggested. You can also take the combat expertise feat if you want to boost your armor class even further. You would likely want to use a greatsword, as you're not going to be able to use a shield anyway, because of the shield spell that you will want to be using in pretty much every combat. And like any other character, you can shore up your armor class with various magic items. The Duskblade is a tempting class to feed into this one, but the problem is it has no good ongoing abjuration spells. At best it has Lesser Deflect and Deflect, which are used as reactions against a single attack, or last for a single round. Shield lasts at least for a few minutes per level, which is going to be better, but still not ideal. Again, what really holds this prestige class back is the fact that mage armor cannot be used with the Abjurant armor class feature. This seems like an oversight by the writers of the prestige class, and really it is the decisive factor in making this prestige class go from 5 stars for execution to 3 stars. For concept, I would give it 4 stars. It's a pretty interesting idea, still pretty versatile. Unfortunately, it doesn't really manage to hit it home in execution, but it can still be a fun prestige class to boost your armor class a little bit for a fighter-mage character that wants to use abjuration spells to protect himself in combat. Seeing as the writers of the prestige class clearly thought that mage armor would be usable with the prestige class given the example NPC, I would think it perfectly reasonable to perhaps house rule mage armor to be an abjuration spell, at the very least for the purposes of this prestige class. Another suggestion I would have would be to add some sort of feature, however minor, to the 3rd level of the prestige class, just to fill it out and make sure it doesn't have any dead levels. While it does have 2 features at level 1, it is a little bit important to front-load the prestige class a little bit in order to give it a little bit more appeal. Speaking of, if I was going to take levels in this prestige class, I would personally only take 2 levels. While it does give you a full base attack bonus throughout and levels in spellcasting, you could take the Eldritch Knight prestige class for effectively the same thing, and also get a bonus feat at 1st level. That said, later on it would be worth going back to this prestige class, if only for the fact that you'll be having dead levels as a wizard anyway, if you continue on with spellcasting. Personally, if I were going to play this prestige class, I would take 4 levels in fighter, 2 levels in wizard, then I would take 2 levels in Abjurant Champion, 1 level in Eldritch Knight, and then continue on with wizard for a while before eventually returning to Abjurant Champion, possibly with a couple more fighter levels in there as well. I would take the Armored Mage alternative class feature. This would restrict me to light armor, but you're going to be restricted to that anyway as a fighter mage, so you might as well go for that. I would use a greatsword, and likely would take combat expertise for those situations where you really want to boost your armor class. While this prestige class does disappoint overall due to a small glitch in the rules, it's still a great option, and it's certainly a flavorful one. So that's about it for this prestige class review. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, etc. Leave a comment letting me know which prestige class you'd like me to review next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.